Hello and welcome to Boomer and Beyond Wellness and the Have It Your Way workout series. I'm Angelafischetti. So today's deep dive is into an exercise called the Dumbbell High Bicep Curl. The accessories we'll be using today will be a sticky yoga mat. I'm also going to be using an additional mat as a knee pad. Plus, we'll be working with exercise noodles, which absolutely contributes no weight, right? But will help you with your form. So because there's no external resistance, you need to have a sense and create a sense of your own internal resistance to apply it to the work. And you'll see when I work with the exercise noodles what I do. I will also be working with one pair of 8-pound dumbbells, and I want to level up to take it to 9 pounds. So I'm going to add on 1-pound wrist weights, which, by the way, could be a great exercise accessory for those of you who have issues with your hands, arthritic hands and fingers, but yet you might have strength. So let's tap into your strength by way of wearing either preset or adjustable wrist weights. Now, before I go any further, I want to discuss some medical disclaimers and precautionary measures, but a blanket statement. If you have any chronic health concern at all, please do not participate immediately with the videos. I want you to preview them. However, if you're unsure after watching them, then I would invite the medical healthcare practitioner who knows your body best to preview the video as well to help you make an informed decision. Now, specific to this workout, so if you have a latex allergy, be careful when you're buying your sticky yoga mat or any exercise mat, including even something like a knee pad or an elbow pad, because they're, you can interchange them. They're made out of latex, so do look for non-latex or latex-free. Now, for those of you who are medicated or not for hypertension, have vertigo or GERD, what can happen because of the work being done up here with the arms? A lot of times I see people drop their head down. So we don't want you folks to drop your head down. I don't want anybody to drop their head down. So do make sure that your devices that you're working out to and you're watching the YouTube video, make sure they're up at eye level. If you have carpal tunnel syndrome, be very careful. We want to avoid what's called wrist extension. Doesn't matter where the arms are, but for some reason I find that people get really weird with the wrists up here, so do make sure you're working with a straight wrist. Now, for golfers and tennis elbows, so that would be medial epicondylitis or lateral epicondylitis, I cannot offer you a modification because the symptoms are quite unique to each person. Therefore, you're going to need to seek further medical advice if this particular bicep exercise is appropriate for you or not. And for those of you with those arthritic hands, I'm going to really emphasize, talk to your doctors about wearing a wrist weight so you too can get the benefits of strength training. Now, the muscles that will be targeted today will be the biceps brachii, also the brachialis, and then kind of moving further down toward your forearms and wrists, the brachioradialis, plus the anterior deltoid muscles. Definitely, folks, your core, man, oh man, is this going to work? And not only your abdominals, but even your oblique muscles, internal and external obliques, they kind of crisscross over each other and they kind of rest alongside your waist. They wrap around the back a little bit. Now, the activities of daily living that will be benefited will be the movements of lifting, carrying, and pulling. So I want you to be able to lift your own groceries. I want you to be able to pull a heavy door closed. And I want you to be able to carry your beautiful little loved ones, maybe your children, your grandchildren, or even your furry, furry loved ones. So a couple of gentle reminders here. Always feel free when you're working out on your own, and this is not a workout, okay, but it is an important tip. Always feel free to stop and rest whenever you need to. However, you are not invited to quit. Stop, take a couple of breaths, and then return to the work, even if it's just for one more repetition. That's okay. Also, do keep yourselves properly hydrated with water. However, if you've been medically advised to avoid drinking a lot of water, maybe because of kidney, bladder issues, whatever the issue, you follow that advice. Now, on the channel, I want you to look for the warm-up and cool-down video, just one video where you can interchange the movements. And it is really important for those of us 55 years and above to warm up for a full 10 minutes prior to any workout. Also, go to the post tab on the channel and look for the rating of perceived exertion chart, RPE for short, and this is a subjective 0 through 10 scale that is really an excellent tool to help those of us gauge our sense of effort. Maybe you don't know how to take your training heart rate, or maybe you are taking certain medications like beta blockers, or maybe you even have a pacemaker. You can show the RPE chart to your medical doctor and get the approval. I have my clients do this all the time, and I let them pick out the range. However, if you're unsure, I do advise for the demographic of Boomer and Beyond Wellness to work out at an RPE between 3 and 6. Also within the post tab, you want to look for a reference, like I'll have links there for you for reference article or a reference study, whichever is appropriate. And I will also have there for you reference images and reference screenshots directly from the video. Now, I want to see if there's anything else here. I got it covered. All right, so what are we going to do here today for you with this high bicep curl? We're going to use our dumbbells. Well, we'll be doing one set, and a set is typically a group of 8 to 15 repetitions. We will definitely be doing 15 repetitions, and we're going to break it down 3 ways. 5 repetitions using the exercise noodles. Then we follow that up with another 5 repetitions wearing the wrist weights only. And then the final 5 is where I'm going to take it to the floor and add the 8-pound weights. Now, before we actually start that work, we're going to talk about an athletic ready stances, which is how you want to stand while you're strength training. So I'm going to place the hands to the inside of my hip bones. So these bones are called the iliac crest. I want to bring my hands to the inside and line up the knees to the ankles to the inside of the hip, not to the outside, folks. Double checking that the toes are in the same line as each other. Now, turning to the side here, and particularly for the females in the house, you want to make sure that you're not tipping your pelvis forward into an anterior pelvic tilt. What we actually want to do is come into a subtle posterior pelvic tilt, also known as a pelvic tuck, and you're pulling the belly button in. So let's begin here with the exercise noodles. I just want to tell you, I don't feel crazy with this, folks. So what I do is I buy my exercise noodles from the dollar store or Walmart, and typically I will cut them in 3s, so I have plenty of them. So I'm going to bring the arms out. Now, I like to bring the elbows a little higher than the shoulders. I'm in the athletic ready stance, and when I curl, when I flex those elbows, I'm drawing the hands toward the ears, and then I open out. So inhale, exhale. Now notice I'm really applying my own internal sense of resistance. You'll even see the muscles shaking a little bit. And exhale. So all of the breathing is in and out through the nose. And you want to pause at the peak of the contraction right here. I'm going to do one more inhale to open and exhale. And when I come out of this, especially those of you who maybe have some vulnerable shoulder joints, you want to bring those elbows down and slowly lower like so. Now, I'm going to move on here to my wrist weights. Now, the wrist weights are 1 pound, so I have to tell you the truth. I don't actually have a link on my Amazon shop, in my Amazon shop for this, although the wrist weights that are there can be adjusted down to 1 pound. I would tell you, if you have a store near you called Five Below, go there And it's a great deal for the 1 pound wrist weights. So again, athletic ready stance, arms up, and soft fists. We're going to curl, pause, and slowly open and exhale. Now, maybe some of you can't do the work standing. That's okay. I'm teaching a lot these days, folks, in a chair at a bunch of different residential and day centers and communities. And we're doing a lot in those chairs. So you want to reframe your perspective of the chair and use it as a tool for health. And one more, exhale, pause, and slowly lower. Now I'm going to leave those wrist weights on. I'm going to take it to the floor. I don't advise that you always do this because you do want to have the hips involved because we get them involved in real life. But if you really want to challenge and localize the area a little bit, you can take it to the floor as well. So we come out and up and exhale, curl. And I got to tell you, there's so much core going on here. Abdominals, the back erectors are working. My gluteals are working. My hip adductor muscles are working, inner thighs, even those pelvic floor muscles. And yes, folks, they are all core muscles. And exhale, pause. I'm going to go for one more. Inhale, open, exhale. What the heck? I'm going to go for one more. Why not? And exhale, carefully lower down. And that's what we have for you today, folks, here at Boomer and Beyond Wellness. So I want to ask you to please consider subscribing to the channel, share the videos, give it a kind comment, and don't forget to hit that notification bell for the reminders. Until next time, eat your greens, eat your beans, drink your water. And thank you so much for your support. Take care.